out of the Abbey into the London which waits to receive her.
It was 1953, and a new modern age was just beginning. The first fabric store on Ottawa Street North in Crown Point soon turns into the largest textile district in Canada.
So you love, obviously, Ottawa Street and Crown Point in this area?
Well, that's all I know, Ottawa Street.
Yeah.
From the day I arrived till now, I'm on Ottawa Street.
Good for you.
How are you? I actually first started coming here when I started designing clothing and making clothing. That's originally what I went to school for. So I'd come down here to buy fabric.
Like the textiles.
Yeah.
And I remember coming to Ottawa Street as a kid with my grandmother, with my mom, buying stuff to like all the different findings and fabrics for sewing stuff.
You got to have the product, you got to have the price, and you got to serve the people.
I think it's nice that it's having like a little renaissance and a rebirth, right? And
Yeah.
people, it's affordable. It's like right on
affordable.
transit. So.
I know.
People would arrive by the busload to shop for fabric. This was a time when sewing and quilting were popular pastimes.
Sewing is something that's in my blood because my grandmother was a seamstress and my mom was a seamstress, so I saw them doing these things and it was something that was natural for me to do.
The lost art of sewing, however, is being rediscovered.
I'm self-taught because there weren't lessons for kids like me when I was a kid. People who were born in the 60s, we had lots of people around us to inspire us. But nowadays it's not in school and stuff like that. So this is a place where kids can come and learn it because we don't have the grandmas or the aunties anymore and a lot of the moms don't know how to sew. So we're filling a gap there, a generation gap.
The demolition of an old, venerable racetrack paved the way for Canada's first year-round shopping mall. The Greater Hamilton Shopping Centre opened its doors on October 26, 1955. Shopping history was made when 75,000 people showed up on opening day. A rubber-tired trolley conveyed shoppers around the 41-acre site, which had room for 7,000 cars. The Dominion store flew in orchids from Hawaii for the occasion. The first retailer to sign on to the project was Simpson Sears, a two-story building with 200,000 square feet of floor space. It was a time of great optimism.
$1, Gary. Where do you find something for $1? Nowhere.
While the world was distracted by the British invasion of 1964, a small coffee shop opens quietly on Ottawa Street North. The proprietor, a local hockey hero named Tim Horton, who played for the reigning NHL Stanley Cup champions, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And if the business that I am involved in continues as it is, I may have to consider retirement before I would like to.
That's the Tim Horton Donut Emporium?
Yes, Tim Horton Donuts for it, and it's very nice to be able to let me get a word in about it. If I may take the opportunity, I'd like to, well, heck, I'm going to tonight. I'd like to say thank you to all you nice people in the Hamilton and Burlington districts and in Galt and Brantford and Kitchener-Waterloo for enjoying my donuts.
We'd like to thank you for paying for our Hockey Night in Canada, too.
All shopkeepers back in the day closed on Sundays. If there was anything you urgently needed, you went to the back door. No money would be exchanged until Monday.
I grew up in the antique business. You know, it's a family-owned business, so since I was 7, 8 years old, I started buying and selling stuff, so long time.
Really, I had so much stuff from a traveling booth I did. I needed some storage, and I seen the store, and
Perfect.
you know. Oh, they come from all over Southern Ontario to shop
Isn't
at my
that
store.
something?
We're
Now
growing.
that marijuana's going to be legal, you're going to be booming, huh? What is an antique detective?
It's somebody who goes out and hunts for antiques.
Is that kind of like a picker?
Totally, but you know, there's so many pickers, we didn't want to be another picker.
Yeah, it just seems to be the place to go for antiques. A lot of people from Toronto are moving to Hamilton, and I'm finding even lots of Toronto traffic down here. So.
Osborne, Gumby and Co.
Wow.
And somewhere it says London, yeah,
Wow.
there we go.
Oh, London, England, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
You know, it's kind of back to my roots because my first school I went to is on the corner here, Memorial School.
Oh,
and
yes, yeah.
the first Tim Hortons is also my first Tim Hortons.
Trends are changing very rapidly. Like, you know, it was always a tradition. Antiques were always a traditional thing, but in the last 5 to 10 years, it's changing. What's in now could be, changed tomorrow.
When nothing but fields existed beyond the city limits, Crown Point had a real estate boom. The idea of building a suburb was a crazy notion. There were no good roads, only wooden planks for sidewalks. A horse watering trough was the only source of clean water. People came from all around the neighborhood to fill up their pails. Crown Point's muddy conditions were well known in other parts of the city. However, young families longed to have a home of their own, and it was a working man's best chance to buy a house for only $10 down. J. Walter Gage went from realtor to public benefactor overnight when he offered affordable housing to working families in 1904.
Hamilton always loved horses. Crown Point thus began as a racetrack. Steeplechase and horse racing were once popular sporting events. Local gentry held competitions at various racetracks around town and on the frozen bay in winter. The Hamilton Jockey Club, designed to be the finest in North America, held its first race on June 1st, 1893. On race day, patrons paid a 50-cent admission to the field, or a $1 admission to the grounds and grandstand. The grandstand, described simply as handsome, faced south toward the mountain and could seat up to 1,500 people. The grounds featured two racetracks, one within the other. In the center was a steeplechase track complete with water jumps. Inside, guests found a sprawling property complete with a clubhouse, betting ring, saddling paddocks, and stables. The first winner at the track was a horse named Victorious, who won by a nose. The old track enjoyed a long life, but finally, in 1952, came to the end of the line.
So you get the fever.
So
you get
I've always liked
picking
digging
fever.
through other people's junk. There's
Yeah.
nothing better than digging
Yeah.
through other people's
Yeah.
junk for treasure.
Oh,
right?
I agree.
So-
I agree 100%.
And, I mean, you find really
Today,
beautiful
vintage clothing echoes the past.
these kind of Chinesey fabric things are just so pretty.
Very
There's-
nice.
One-hit wonder.
Oh, yes.
Early
Beautiful.
60s. Now, there probably was a skirt.
In fact, inspiration for fashion design has almost always come from previous eras.
And I know that today when you buy something, you wash it and
I know,
it's
loses its
garbage.
shape, I know.
Yeah, so you get it for $5, but then it's garbage.
Yeah, it's
and all that
garbage.
oil they put in it.
I love this one. It's like a nylon, but like kind of a ringer style.
I love this. That is
70s.
beautiful.
It's all 80s kind of pastels.
Nice. And
Madras.
these, I love these.
Fluvogs.
Those are
These
something.
are expensive now.
I think that the future of sewing is bright because I get to see kids every week that are really excited about sewing. They can't wait to get to class and they can't wait to start their next project.
You know, items of clothing that are actually better made than what you buy today, and they're being thrown out or not, you know, being appreciated. So, like, rescuing them.
Yeah.
Before they, I don't know what happens to them.
Well, I hear some get shipped off, but
Yeah.
most of them end up in our landfills.
Yeah.
So what a great and terrific idea.
100 years ago, reusing garments was a way of life. Most clothing was repaired, mended, or tailored for other family members, or recycled within the home as rags or quilts.
You find people that are taking one item and that's kind of like the highlight of their outfit,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know, it's definitely mixing and matching.
Vintage clothing or textile recycling is the green arm of the fashion industry.
I have kids that are all the way from 5 years old up to adults that are retired that want to learn how to sew. And you'll find that there's this real enthusiasm for making all kinds of things. They make bags and clothes and quilts and beanbag chairs and all kinds of fun stuff.
When Clifton and Frank Sherman fired up their little foundry at the end of the street in 1912, little could they know of the industrial giant it was to become. Built along Stipes Inlet, Dofasco continues to be an important part of the Crown Point community.
So you plan on being in this location for the next 40 years?
I'd say for another 120 years.
Good for you. That's what we want to hear.
Girlfriend said a couple of rednecks like you should be able to write a song. One of them will be much too drunk, the other will just go along. But I said, well, we got a cowbell and a chastity line. The words just went on and on against us and country rock. got some motives, and some values too. Maybe that's the reason why I can't give up on you. We got some motives and some values too. That's why I'm trying to find